Welcome back, everybody. This is The Hotspot. You're watching us on YouTube, on Facebook, or KUMTV8, and we certainly appreciate you doing so because a Indigenous Language Summit is coming up that promises to galvanize community discourse on the importance of doing what it takes to ensure that our cultures, Chamorro language, lives on for future generations. Two ladies that are instrumental, but part of many that are doing just that, their life's work, if you will, are the two ladies joining me now on the KUM couch, Dr. Lisa Natividad.
Buenas.
Very good to see you, Lisa. It's been a while.
Upman.
And Hope Cristobal, of course, the very cherished member of our island community. Auntie Hope, buenas. Very good to see you. Of course. But thank you for putting on this summit too, because there are some people that say, you know, I mean, this is not new information. Some people say, is the Chamorro language becoming less popular? Some people even go so far as saying, you know, it's dying. You know, it's only something that the older generation speaks. Obviously, that's not true. Maybe there is a smaller portion of the community that is fluent in you know, like the language of my grandparents. But when we talk about Indigenous language, Dr. Natividad, and everything like that, how do we contextualize that?
Well, I think the assertion that you just shared is absolutely true. I've been with Comisión Chamorro in the administrator capacity only for the past few months, and the more I've immersed myself in examining the state of our language, the word I really use to describe it is that of a crisis. It really, truly is a crisis.
And we've experienced several crises, like over the last few years. We had coronavirus, we've got economics and everything like that. Language is certainly right up there as well.
Yes, and it's a global phenomenon that's been acknowledged by the United Nations. They have recently adopted the International Decade of Indigenous Languages because Indigenous languages are disappearing from the planet at a very rapid rate.
And certainly, like, you know, Auntie Hope, we are biased because of our culture to native Chamorro, but I guess what Dr. Natividad was also saying, like, if you are a young, perhaps Irish or Scottish or Welsh person, do you really know how to speak like Gaelic? And so, like, that is the problem we face right now. So what are we doing to address that?
Well, first of all, you know, we do recognize the immense value of keeping Indigenous languages alive, and our theme is really to help revitalize the language. I mean, it's in Guam, we don't have very many anymore that we can call Chamorro experts. And so we're trying to expand our repertoire of people that can become a part of this ecosystem that includes all stakeholders and partners. And so this summit is really designed to bring people and part of our sponsors, and I want Lisa to talk about our sponsorship, because we do have collaborative partners from elsewhere outside of Guam, but we also invited the CNMI, and which is one of our mandates in 5GCA Chapter 88, which reinstituted the Commission, and now we're taking it very seriously. When the legislature says you got to do this, this, and that, and we're on it. So we are excited about the summit, and we hope that our partners at the CNMI are going to be coming. I know at least 5 or 6 important people.
So please scan the QR code if you are in any way interested in this, because it is very, very important work, as Dr. Natividad very effectively said. And Doc, I would say, you know, given your academic background, you obviously know it's one thing to put together like a conference and have a dialogue, have a discussion, and then come up with a theoretical plan. Where the rubber really meets the road, I would say, is, you know, is the execution of that strategy and moving forward. So what are you looking at in terms of like action items, like, you know, education campaigns, outreach, you know, things like that?
Yeah, I think it's a really exciting time because our conference, it's 2 days, as was indicated on the flyer. We do have 2 keynotes who will be sharing. The first is Dr. Ken Cooper with the University of Guam, and he'll be sharing a study that he conducted exploring the state of the Chamorro language, as well as recommendations moving forward in terms of how we revitalize our language. We also have Dr. Rita Sablan, who will be coming from the CNMI, and she likewise has done a tremendous, her life's work really has been dedicated to language preservation in their context. And so at the tail end of our second day of the conference, we have invited a policy panel which include our Lieutenant Governor, Josh Tenorio, as well as our Speaker of our legislature. We've also invited the Governor of the CNMI to discuss and to come up with how do we move forward and how do we get the resources that we need. There's a lot of existing ongoing stuff that's happening. You know, we have dual language school at St. Francis, which is a project funded by the ANA to the Commission. We also have Fanizakan programs. We support the work of Hurao's cultural camp and school, right? The immersion programs. And so there's a lot of stuff that's happening out there. But part of what we're doing as well in our agenda is we are hearing from folks that have done this kind of work in other places, like Aotearoa or New Zealand with the Maoris.
So we have models with which we can learn from and then kind of adapt to our own environment.
Because they really were the first. And then in addition to them, the Hawaiians took note. And so we have some representatives from Hawaii as well who are language implementers.
And perhaps they can also share maybe some of the roadblocks that they also went through when they were going through their own journey, such that we would not make the same, you know, setbacks, I guess.
Exactly.
Okay, now, Auntie Note, how do we actually sell this concept, you know, to industry so that it can be implemented, you know, like in the tourism industry, to educators, so it can, you know, so it's not just part of the curriculum, you know, you have to do it because you're told and everything, but young children really want to learn Chamorro and speak Chamorro, and you know, and it's not just okay, so you can have a conversation, you know, with Nana and Tata.
Well, the Commission very early on conducted workshops to bring in liaison officers of various Government of Guam agencies, including the industry, if they would send someone just to familiarize themselves with the orthography, because as you know, we use written language to transmit information, and so we need to find a cohesive way to get everybody on board. And so we conducted quite a few workshops to educate our people, and even at that, people were very excited to hear that now we have an adopted orthography, which we did, and we've produced booklets, and we've produced quite a few resources, and we get daily requests from our community, and we welcome inquiries from industry. As you know, we have Finu Ihaani every day in the newspaper. We have a word, and so and we provide the English as translations as well. We have many ways of, as a matter of fact, let me just enterprise on our new book that has just come out. It's called The Cultural Dictionary. So the boards decided to educate by, you know, looking at some of these slang words. Say, for example, Jesus Chamorro always did Obascoba.
Yep.
And so what does that mean, and how do we apply that?
I know so many people use that for years. I had no idea what it meant.
Yes, so we have a cultural dictionary that you can download on our website, comisionchamorro.com, and you can learn a lot of our slang words. That's volume 1. We're working on volume 2, so it's a way to get to industry, so they too can start using some of these phrases and ways of saying. And especially, you know, Jason, you know, during election time, these kinds of sayings, burst of language come out of the blue.
Everybody's like trilingual when they're running for office, right?
Yes, right.
Oh, don't si Diyos maasi, maraming salamat po.
Yeah. Well, or
arigatou gozaimashita.
Yeah. Or you know, we have adages that we say a lot, and we need to make sure that those things which are passed on down to us from our ancestors, we need to understand the context. Say, for example, foci. You know, that has now become a brand, but actually that is not the word that we discussed in the book. We talked about fakai. Fakai is to spread, to increase, to you know, spread equally, to balance it out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, so it's a totally different, and so we need to educate ourselves.
Because I'm middle-aged, and you know, we grew up like using that in a very specific context.
Yes, but it's not the vulgar part.
Right, which is not that one.
Which is actually, we use that word in our novenas. So fakai, the blessings, you know, which is spread out all the blessings which is said in tomorrow.
Which for you young people,
Yeah.
what Auntie Hope just said is probably making you laugh right now. But no, that is the proper use of the word and
So
and
yeah,
the root.
we have quite a few resources.
Did you know that,
and-
Santa Rita Pete?
Yes,
You did. Oh.
I kept trying to tell you guys that fucker is used in a word different.
Okay, yeah, Santa Rita Pete saying like this is a lecture he had with us youngsters many
You guys,
many times.
You guys changed it also.
Yeah.
And actually, thank you, ladies, for also mentioning, you know, the importance of writing, and hopefully, you know, as part of our practicing our language and preserving our languages, you said documenting what we're going through, because that's something our people didn't have for like hundreds of years and everything, and it was kind of like a blight on us knowing who we truly are.
Absolutely, and I think that's been one of the main things of the Commission, is not only to discuss and approve an orthography that sets the tone in terms of the writing of Chamorro, but also other resource materials such as the Cultural Dictionary. We also have a Pictionary book, and we have other publications in hard that is available for free at the Commission. And so if you attend this conference, you certainly will be able to access those resources as well.
Okay, so real quick, let's talk about registration. Is there any cost, and what time should people show up, and do they need to bring anything? Are there, you know, what's the experience
I
going to be
think
like?
earlier, Jason, you had the QR code.
Oh yeah.
And that's all that people need to access.
Okay, we
It's
got our
go-
new guy, Daniel, if you could bring that up once more so Auntie Hope can reference it. There you go. Okay. So there, February 10th and
So
11th.
scan the QR code and register for free. We actually provide you free
Th-
lunch
th-
as well.
This is face to face, right? This isn't
Yes,
like
this
okay.
is face-to-face.
This isn't a Zoom thing, okay? And
No,
and
no.
but for people off island and everything like that, certainly there will be materials available to them after the fact.
Yes, and just to clarify, there's been a change in venue. It will be at the Leo Palace Resort.
Oh, nice.
It's 2 days, face-to-face, lunch is included. There's no cost for attendance. It is a Friday and a Saturday, and part of day one, we will be visiting the Canoe House in Petey, which is part of our sponsors' contributions. And so the conference is organized
I
by...
love field trips.
Yes, we have field trips to the immersion programs on day one as well.
Oh,
In
okay.
the school systems, both Hurrao and the Fenizakan at GDOE. And so our sponsors, of course, is the Commission is the primary sponsor with the use of ESF fundings from the governor's office. And in addition, we have the Pacific Indigenous Women's Network, who have assisted, as well as the Young Men's League of Guam and the University of Guam's Center for Island Wisdom.
All right, most excellent. So Dr. Lisa Natividad and former Senator Hope Cristobal, thank you, ladies, Sidus Masi, for everything that you do.
Jason.
Very,
We're
very,
so
very
happy
critical
to be
work. that you
here.
said. Yeah, like you said, I mean, it's not a calling, it's not a job, it's a calling.
It's a life, yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Sidus Masi.
Please stay tuned. There is much more show coming up right after this.